we're gonna do some gardening, and then I'm gonna show you how I make homemade cereal. It's real easy, it's really good, and I make it for us for the week. I can't wait to show you how I make it. But first, we are gonna do some morning gardening. Here I am repotting some purslane. It was really funny. My cousin came over one day and she had bought some plants and had some in the back of her truck. And a couple of pieces of the purslane just kind of dropped off, and so she was telling me how easy they are to grow and root. So we just stuck some down in the ground, and they have grown into these two little pieces. Also, I made this bowl. It's just concrete, and I used 2 mixing bowls. One of these days I will do a video on how I made it. It's really easy. I potted vinca in some pots in the front of the house on the porch, and I somehow ended up with one extra, so I thought I would just make a little pot and keep it on this bench. Isn't this a cool bench? It's a potting bench that my dad made for me. I just love it. It's got some screen on the top, and the dirt just falls through, and all I have to do is just sweep it up. This is also a container that I made. It's called a hypertufa. If you've never heard of that, it's made with Portland cement, perlite, and peat moss, and water, of course. You just form it into whatever kind of container you would like, and then you let it sit. But I'll do a video and show you how I made this one. This is just some English ivy that I'm planting in this little pot. And I'll set it on a little bench on the front porch, and hopefully it will kind of trail down a little bit as it grows. This is a little lime hydrangea. I thought it'd be so pretty to put right there in the center where the nandinas are a little bit lower, and the blooms are just going to be so pretty popping up behind there. The tag says jade green blooms aging to red. How pretty is that going to be? Now let's go in and I'll show you how I make our homemade cereal. I just like to add flaxseed. It's totally optional. I'm using a combination of nuts here. It doesn't really matter what you use just use what you like. I don't know why, but I like the sound of chopping them up. You can always just buy the pre-chopped nuts and measure it out. It makes it a lot easier, but I just like doing it myself. Whether you're chopping them up or you're just measuring out the pre-chopped nuts, you just add them to the bowl with the oats. I like to use maple syrup in this recipe instead of brown sugar because it coats the oats and nuts. It helps the salt and cinnamon stick to everything, and it toasts up really nicely in the oven. Here we just want to stir it up really well before we pour it into the oat and nut mixture. Isn't it nice to know what goes into your recipe? This has maple syrup, vanilla, cinnamon. Can't beat that. No preservatives. You just want to stir it really well. Make sure that everything is coated in the maple syrup and the oil. And I even dig down really deep in the bowl to make sure I don't miss anything. We want everything to toast in the oven evenly. And you just want to spread it as thinly and evenly as you can. After 15 minutes in the oven, you can tell when you start to stir that everything sounds really crispy and it's all getting really toasty all over. The whole house smells like cinnamon, vanilla, and toasted nuts. It smells so good. After you stir it up, then just even it out again, and we're going to put it back in the oven for another 5 minutes. This makes about 20 third of a cup servings. You really don't need much. It's very filling, and so I just usually use a third of a cup when I have it for cereal, and it lasts a really long time. It fits in my little container really well. Maybe just a little over what would fit in that container. You can always double it, but this does last my husband and I for 10 days or at least a week. It's really hard to walk past it without grabbing a handful for a snack here and there. So it should last us longer than 10 days, but most of the time it doesn't. This recipe is very simple. It's just a matter of mixing a few ingredients together and baking it. There's very little cleanup, and you'll have homemade cereal, granola, a topping for ice cream, a base for trail mix, and many other uses, I'm sure. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!